Engines roared like a chorus of peace, not war. The Eos Accord rose from Earth's orbital cradle, its white hull reflecting starlight like a beacon of defiance. Onlookers wept, not out of fear, but awe. No weapons, no armor, just language matrices, art vaults, and hope, and a crew sworn to die before raising a fist. I stood at the viewport, hand trembling against the glass. No return fire, ever, I reminded myself aloud. Orders had never been clearer. If diplomacy fails, we fail with it. Commander Tallis grunted beside me. They'll think we're insane. Maybe we were. But history had proven that war got us nowhere. This ship was Earth's final gamble. As the Accord vanished into fold space, I remembered the last ambassador's words. Diplomacy is a sword of patience. He'd died negotiating peace on Vexar. They'd sent back pieces of his translator drone. Still, we choose to speak, because someone must. We emerged into fire. Twin suns scorched the void while capital ships dueled across a broken nebula. Red flak carved the stars, missiles rippled like electric storms. Between all, us. The Eos Accord powered shields, but not to block weapons, to project signal amplifiers. One message echoed, "We come to talk." The Carinth Dominion flagged us first. Their dreadnought approached like a god wreathed in flame. "Unarmed, you insult our ancestors," their translator snapped. On the opposite channel, the Valari Ascendancy threatened immediate boarding. A ship without guns must hide secrets. Both sides were ready to annihilate us, or each other. I ordered silence. Then we projected Mozart into space. Not text, not threats, music. It paused them. For 30 seconds, no one fired. I whispered, "We got through." Tallis muttered, "Or they're deciding how to cook us." Either way, our signal reached both empires. The first stone of dialogue had been thrown. The Valari sent a shuttle. Sleek, silver, quiet. Out stepped Speaker Elor, veiled in shimmering silk. "A cultural ship is an odd tactic," they purred, their eyes scanning our art-lined halls. "Is this a cathedral?" I shook my head. "A gallery and a conversation." They said nothing but placed a feather on our table. Then came the Dominion. Grand Marshal Creel arrived in obsidian armor, flanked by guards who sneered at our decor. He looked around and scoffed. "This ship smells of surrender." But he didn't walk out. He studied the murals. Earth history. Blood, betrayal, unity. "Eventually," I said, "always eventually." That night we placed both guests in opposite chambers. Each insisted on dining last, fearing poison. We served them identical Earth cuisine and streamed both meals across the ship. No deceit, just openness. Still, neither would speak first. And yet, neither had fired. A victory, even if no one acknowledged it. Archivist Yun, our onboard historian, was blind, but he could recite every war Earth had ever fought. He met with the Dominion General and Valari speaker separately. "You fight for honor," he said to both, "but you've forgotten why." He gifted them tablets with Earth's darkest days, Hiroshima, Rwanda, and Rome's fall. They didn't thank him. Speaker Ilor skimmed the genocide records in silence, face unreadable. Grand Marshal Creel crushed a wine glass, muttering, "You wallow in shame?" Yun merely nodded. "We remember, so we don't repeat." Both guests requested more. Valari asked for Earth's music, Dominion for Earth's battle treaties. Our databanks opened like scripture. That night, Elor asked to see our planet's oldest song. Creel requested our bloodiest painting, diplomacy in raw form. Each wanted to understand us through extremes, violence and vulnerability. I didn't sleep. Somewhere, in the dark, art had cracked armor. But would it shatter war? A hidden signal breached our firewall. Tallis traced it to a Dominion implant, secretly placed on the Grand Marshal's uniform. It's broadcasting our interior layout, she hissed. Sabotage or surveillance? I confronted Creel. He didn't deny it. Knowledge is a weapon, he said, and you have more than you admit. Speaker Ilor intercepted our panic. You assumed we were honest? She laughed. This is war, Captain. Truth is a smuggled good. We considered ejecting both, but that would end everything. So I broadcast the breach to both fleets. Full transparency. No secrets. We are vulnerable, I said. By choice. The fleets paused again. For a moment. Then something stunning happened. Both admirals demanded their envoys be protected, not withdrawn. Protected, as if they'd started to value our strange little sanctuary. Talus grinned. We've been infiltrated by diplomacy. I almost smiled, too, until a new ship appeared on long-range scans. And it wasn't either of theirs. The newcomer broke through fold space like a spear of blue flame. No markings, no allegiance. Its hull shimmered with refractive scales, bioengineered, possibly ancient. Neither the Valari nor Dominion claimed it. A third party, I murmured. Or a forgotten one. Talus scanned it twice. No weapons, but massive gravimetric distortion. It ignored the fleets. Ignored us. And broadcast a single phrase. Balance must be observed. Dominion and Valari scrambled interceptors, but the ship didn't flinch. Instead, it projected ancient glyphs. Some matched pre-council records. It's using root glyphs, Archivist Yun said. Older than either empire. Older than Earth's first satellites. We sent a reply using our AI translator net. The unknown vessel shifted orbit and turned toward us. What have we invited? Talus whispered. I locked eyes with the starboard cam. Maybe something older than war itself. The envoys demanded to leave. I refused. Now diplomacy had to evolve, or end. The alien vessel opened a relay, forming a corridor of light between us. It wasn't a tractor beam. It was an invitation. I made the call, entered the chamber with Yoon and 2 silent drones. The corridor shimmered with pulsating glyphs, each reacting to our vitals. They read us, our fears, our intent. Inside, time felt wrong. The being that met us had no face, no limbs, just shifting geometry. It spoke through encoded emotion. Language is decay, it said, but silence can birth clarity. Yoon bowed. You're a neutral party, I guessed. You want the war to end. The figure pulsed. We are arbiters, but arbitration must be earned. I asked the only question that mattered. Will you destroy us if we fail? The corridor dimmed. We do not destroy. We correct. And with that, we were returned to the bridge. No time had passed, yet Yoon's hair had gone entirely white. The arbiter, if that was its name, proposed a trial. You claim peace, but know only the shadow of war. The 2 empires were to observe. We were to perform. First, the trial of memory. We had to reenact a moment of Earth's reconciliation, the Oslo Accords. On deck, in real time, actors, diplomats, and survivors retold it. Creel scoffed at the performance. Your wounds are old, not healed. Elor, however, recorded the entire reenactment. They choose to relive pain, she said, confused. Even through art? Yun replied, that's how we keep it from ruling us. Second, the trial of harmony. We merged Earth's oldest symphonies with Dominion war chants and Valari pulse tones into a live performance. AI blended the soundscape. The arbiter responded with a silent pulse, then flickered. Did we fail? Talus asked. I shook my head. No. It felt moved. The true test, though, had yet to come. Valari cruiser Oralang sent a sudden message. We offer a ceasefire if Dominion returns the Krine outpost. It looked official. It sounded real. But Creel spat. Lies. The outpost was glassed 3 cycles ago. When pressed, Elor denied sending it. Talus traced the signal. It came from our ship. We were being used, framed. Someone aboard Eos Accord had tried to fabricate a breakthrough, to trigger a betrayal. Internal lockdown initiated. 40 crew detained. In the medbay, an assistant AI technician was found dead. Poisoned. No sign of entry. "Someone's trying to kill diplomacy," I growled, "and they're already inside. Worse, the arbiters flickered again. Truth cannot grow from poisoned soil." Yun stepped forward. "Then help us dig it out." The arbiters replied with a symbol, an ancient court of justice. We had one chance, a full investigation, led by us, judged by them. If we failed, we'd not be corrected. We'd be erased. The arbiters' chamber reappeared, this time aboard Eos Accord. Floating discs formed a tribunal ring. Both empires sent observers. We presented logs, AI playback, and crew testimonies. No legal tricks, just the truth. The technician, it turned out, had uploaded false diplomatic code, but not alone. He'd been receiving ghost signals from the Dominion fleet. Creel stood. "We did not authorize sabotage," he growled. The arbiters pulsed. "Intent defines action. Denial cannot unright damage." But Elor surprised us. "I believe them," she said. "This war makes madmen in every shadow." For once, Creel did not disagree. "Then let us find them together." The arbiters replied with their first symbol of balance. Equilibrium achieved. Partially. A single node in the courtroom glowed green. "One step forward," Yun whispered. 49 more to go. I turned to the stars beyond. If peace is a trial, then we stand accused and hopeful. After the tribunal, the arbiters left a new artifact aboard, an ever-shifting prism that projected holograms of peace accords across the ages. Valari and Dominion alike began visiting it. Some mocked, others watched in silence. I saw one Dominion engineer cry while watching humans and aliens sign the Treaty of Sol. Elor approached me. "This ship is changing us," I replied, "or reminding you of what change looks like." Meanwhile, Creel asked to walk in our arboretum. There, among Terran oaks and lunar moss, he stared at a bonsai tree. "You bend it so it survives?" "No," I corrected. "We help it grow around pressure." The prism pulsed that night. Yun believed it marked emotional resonance. It's not measuring outcomes, it's measuring will. The war still raged outside, but aboard Eos Accord, for the first time, enemies shared a breath. Small roots breaking stone, small hope breaking habit. Talus spotted anomalies. Shadows that shouldn't exist. Gravitational pings just beyond sensor range. "Ghost fleet," she whispered. Long-rumored ships used by warlords, smugglers, and rogue AIs. Unaffiliated. Predatory. They were circling, not firing, watching. Valari sensors confirmed it. 12 cloaked vessels. "They're not Dominion or Valari," Creel hissed. "They wait to strike whoever blinks first." I opened all channels, broadcast culture signals, not warnings, art, music, war logs. The arbiters amplified our signal, but the ghosts didn't respond. No aggression, no contact. Elor theorized, they may feed on war, not win it. Creel countered, or they're scavengers, waiting for us to die. Either way, they hovered like vultures over our fragile peace. Yun suggested something chilling. What if they're descendants of a lost faction? Watching the last war burn. We didn't sleep that night. Peace makes a tempting corpse. Despite the tribunal, the Dominion flagship Vrexall moved into weapons range of a Valari medical cruiser. Our calls were unanswered. "Autonomous override," Talus reported. "It's the captain who's been removed." A rogue commander or an internal rebellion? Creel cursed and stormed off the bridge. Elor was first to act. She opened a direct channel and sang. Valari combat songs are ancient, coded with emotional context and layered meaning. This one meant restraint through honor. It reached the Vrexall just as weapons warmed. The ship hesitated, then stood down. No shots fired. Talus exhaled. They listened to a song? I smiled. Language is louder than missiles. Later, we learned a splinter within the Dominion tried to spark war again. The Arbiters were silent, but the prism glowed brighter. And now, the factions began scanning each other less, and scanning us more. Violence returned. Quiet, sudden. One of our linguists, Dr. Rao, was found murdered in the gallery wing. Blunt trauma. No cameras recorded it, no DNA match. The art she'd been analyzing. A Valari depiction of pre-contact horrors, cannibalism, ritual purges. But she'd been translating it with nuance, revealing mercy where none was expected. Ilor was shaken. This wasn't sanctioned. It dishonors us. Creel remained silent too long. Finally, he muttered, "We all have ghosts who hate light." Security was tripled. The Arbiters returned, hovering over the crime scene like judges at an unspoken trial. Yun presented Dr. Rao's notes, half-translated phrases suggesting the Valari once ended their darkest age through empathy, not control. "She died for that truth," he said. Elor swore to finish the translation herself. To cleanse this blood with meaning. Even death could not silence diplomacy. It would speak louder now. Down in the maintenance decks, Talus intercepted encrypted chatter. "A mutiny cell," she said grimly. "Not aliens. Our crew." We traced it to a group calling themselves the Silent Axis. Humans who believed we'd gone too far, exposed ourselves too much. "Peace is weakness," their manifesto read. "Humanity must dominate, not beg." I gathered the senior staff. "No arrests, no violence. We debate this publicly." It was the riskiest move yet. We streamed a full ship-wide forum. The Axis spoke, then Yun responded, then Elor, then Creel, and then I stood. Power doesn't come from dominance, it comes from conviction under pressure. The Arbiters observed it all. And then, strangely, they projected an old Terran image across the halls. Martin Luther King Jr., speaking on unity. A gesture of approval. The mutiny collapsed not with a purge, but applause. Even among humans, the virus of war had been heard and answered. The Arbiters requested something new, a co-authored artifact. One item created jointly by humans, Valari, and Dominion. Symbolic, Elor said, but potentially treasonous. Creel was more direct. "My people will call me broken." I replied, "Good. Cracks let light in." We chose a music sculpture. Earth metal, Valari resonance glass, Dominion pressure sand. Talus, our engineer, merged them using sound rather than fire. "Let it sing itself into being," she said. It did. The sculpture emitted a continuous harmony, notes adapting to the emotional resonance nearby. When completed, the Arbiters stored it in their chamber. "Equilibrium. Stabilizing," they said. Yun smiled for the first time in weeks. "They're measuring more than results. They're measuring effort." I wondered if that was how peace was always built. Not by victory, but persistence. But then the Ghost Fleet returned, and this time they sent a message. The Ghost Fleet's signal was layered, ultrasonic, encrypted, nonverbal. It took 3 AI layers and Yun's intuition to parse it. The result chilled the bridge. "We are the Voidborn. Peace violates entropy. We are the balancing wound." Elor stepped back. "They believe war is the galaxy's immune system." Creel looked at me. "Then what are we?" "Disease." Their ships remained just outside firing range. No demand, no ultimatum. Just that one phrase. But we noticed systems faltering. Slow failures across both fleets. Disruptors, viruses, and entropy are injected like rot. EOS Accord was affected too. Culture archives began glitching, files lost, music corrupted. They don't destroy, they unmake, Talus said. I called a full diplomatic session. We've spent weeks proving peace works. Now we must prove it endures. The arbiters gave no aid. Perhaps this was the final test. Yun proposed a counterattack, not with code, but with permanence. They corrupt data, not memory. We gathered every living member of our 3 factions who could sing, draw, or recite. Our ship became a live broadcast. Old poems, dances, war memorials, lullabies, analog, ancient, human, Valari, Dominion. One Dominion engineer carved an oath into the hull. A Valari child sang an unbroken harmony for 11 hours. I read a letter my mother wrote me before she died. It was war's opposite, not strategy, but raw vulnerability. The Voidborn tried to jam us, but analog cannot be deleted. Across the fleets, people began creating again. Not defense, expression. The sculpture in the Arbiter chamber grew louder, feeding on signal resonance. The Arbiters spoke. Decay resisted. Equilibrium recovered. The Voidborn vanished. For now. The Dominion and Valari delegates met without our prompting. For hours they spoke in whispers, then presented a joint proposal, the Borderless Pact. A floating peace station to replace the front lines. A permanent forum, built with shared tech and neutral memory banks. It would orbit where their blood was once spilled. Creel stood before both fleets. We are tired of mourning. We want to build where ghosts used to gather. Elor added, and we want Earth to lead it. That stunned us. I stammered, we didn't come to lead. Creel replied, but you reminded us what leadership is? The Arbiters didn't speak. They just extended a beam of white light between all 3 ships. It pulsed once, then spread outward like a shockwave. Not a weapon. A seal. Recognition, Yun said. A rare thing. We had become a fulcrum. Now the question was, could we hold? Just as the pact was finalized, we detected something inside our ship, buried in the hull from launch. An ancient Earth protocol, sealed decades ago. Talus unearthed it. Project Paragon, she whispered. It's not diplomatic. It was a weapon. A hidden failsafe. A human betrayal, nuclear seed, hidden under peace. Elor was furious. So, this was a trick? Creel reached for his sidearm. Typical Earth duplicity. I raised both hands. We didn't know. This predates the Accord. It was buried by those who feared we'd fail. The Arbiters flickered, unsettled. I made the hardest decision of my life. I ordered it to be ejected. No defense, no conditions. Let the galaxy see it burn. The protocol detonated far from any fleet. A starburst of shame and choice. The Arbiters watched it fade. Then, finally, they spoke. True peace is not purity. It is a sacrifice. The Arbiters summoned us again. But this time, the courtroom was holographically extended across both fleets. Billions watched. The Echo Tribunal had one purpose, to judge the 3 factions not by laws, but by actions since their arrival. Each culture had to defend its worst moment aboard the EOS Accord. Elor stood first. Our assassination of truth was an echo of fear. We vowed to teach that history, not bury it. Creel followed. Sabotage was our poison, but we exposed it, cleansed it, and chose peace over pride. When it came to me, I said only this. We found a weapon inside us, and still chose to disarm. The Arbiters deliberated in absolute silence. Then came their sentence, not punishment, but permission. You may lead, but if war returns, so shall we. Their departure left a final glyph behind, etched on our command deck. Balance is yours to break or bear. Admiral Isha Danvers, my old mentor, hailed us from Earth orbit. Her face was lined with pride and hesitation. "Captain Voss, the Accord has stirred galaxies, but Earth faces unrest. Some demand we recall you, others say we've abandoned sovereignty." Behind her, protests flared. Unity wasn't universal. "They want me to return?" I asked. "They want control," she replied. "They fear that diplomacy has made us vulnerable." I looked at Yun, then Talus. "And you?" I asked. Danvers didn't blink. "I believe peace is only dangerous to those who profit from fear. Stay your course." We signed off. Talus whispered, "Earth's afraid we've gone native." I replied, "Good. It means we're doing something alien and necessary." That night I recorded a message to Earth, not a report, a plea. We're not losing our soul. We're proving it exists. Construction began. The borderless packed station, a co-built orbital platform over neutral ground, human nanotech, Valari bioglass, Dominion substructure. Even former enemies volunteered. Warships became freighters. Soldiers became translators. A strange grace took root where silence used to bloom. Ylor and Creel designed the first shared law. Any conflict begins in conversation. The line would be carved into every corridor. Meanwhile, Earth sent envoys of culture, not politicians, musicians, historians, teachers. It confused the galaxy. And that confusion bought time. But not all were pleased. A Valari extremist group called the Hollow Crown issued a manifesto. "Peace makes prey. We will not bend." 2 transports vanished days later. "Sabotage?" Talus asked. I nodded. And a reminder, peace is not the end. It's the battlefield now. The Eos Accord shuddered as a subspace mine detonated nearby. No casualties, but a clear message. The Hollow Crown had infiltrated the Valari civilian network, spreading propaganda and fear. "They're framing Earth," Ylor said grimly, claiming we replaced unity with servitude. I convened an emergency summit. "We won't retaliate, but we must respond." Yun proposed a cultural weapon, the shared archive, a digital monument of every faction's history, preserved by all 3 species and made unalterable. We launched it at the packed station. 3 languages, 3 memories, no edits. Within hours it went viral across a dozen sectors. Survivors submitted their records. Empires began remembering, not rewriting. The Hollow Crown attacked twice more. Each time, the archive grew stronger. "Their lies," I said, "are being buried beneath honest scars." I dreamed of fire, cities falling, Earth darkened by orbiting guns. I woke to Yun watching the stars. "It's not over," he said. "Peace isn't a wall, it's a door, and that means others will come through." He showed me a new transmission, unidentified species, border fringe. One word, help. They weren't Dominion, not Valari, not even known to Earth. A 4th culture, watching, waiting. They saw the Accord and believed we might listen. I stared at the blinking glyph, pulse quickening. "A 2nd Accord." Yun nodded. "Or a wider one." I summoned the crew. "We've done the impossible once. Now it's time to try it again, with strangers even older than fear." And in that moment, the Eos Accord became not just a vessel, but a seed, a message in motion. And somewhere, war listened. We set course for the Ash Belt, a war-torn expanse littered with ruined ships and lost empires. The distress signal came from deep within. No known safe routes. Talus reinforced the hull with smart matter, whispering, "We're threading a graveyard." We passed hulls scorched by antimatter, derelict dreadnoughts turned into drifting tombs. The signal grew louder, mournful, almost musical. Yun identified its frequency, a Terran lullaby, altered. "Someone out there learned from us," he said, "and they're singing for help." As we reached the core, Scanners lit up. A small moon arc, wrapped in defense fields powered by solar decay. Life signs, faint, non-human. Elor whispered, "Someone watched us from here and believed." That faith might be the most fragile thing we'd ever carry. The moon called itself Orin Prime. Its people, bipedal, crystalline-skinned, called themselves the Listeners. They had no weapons, no spoken language. They communicated through harmonics and radiant pulses. They had built nothing to conquer, only to record. Inside their archives they held a centuries of intercepted transmissions, Dominion war logs, Valari propaganda, and Earth's first message to the stars. They'd memorized it like scripture. One listener approached and emitted a tone matching Mozart's Lacrimosa. Yun wept. They didn't just hear us. They felt us. The listener placed a glowing shard in my hand. A memory core, one that contained their entire history. Then they bowed. Not as a surrender, but a request. "They want to join the Accord," I said. Elor stepped forward. "Then we'll need to change the definition of membership." We relayed Orun's request to the Pact Station. The Valari Senate voted in favor. Dominion delegates hesitated. "We must study them further," said one. "This could be a trick." Creel remained silent. Talus stormed out. "Peace is being delayed by the same fear we tried to kill." Then came a shock. An anonymous Dominion vessel attacked an Orin harmonic relay. No deaths, but communications with half the moon blacked out. Yun traced the attackers. Rogue Dominion technocrats, loyal to old doctrines. "They believe new allies dilute power," Creel admitted. Ilor spoke before the chamber. "You fear them because they are gentle, but if we crush gentleness, we become only precision and rot." Her words split the room. I broadcast a new signal, Earth's ancient message to Voyager, not to governments, to life itself, and Eos Accord burned it across the stars. "We are listening." In an unprecedented move, the listeners responded with a resonant judgment. They amplified Earth's signal using their moons, projecting it to 10 sectors. "Let the galaxy decide," Yun said. "Open source diplomacy." Within hours, thousands of transmissions poured in. Small planets, fringe colonies, AI collectives, most supported the Orun, but some threatened retaliation. "You open the door too wide," one stated, "and monsters walk in." Still, the arbiters reappeared, silent, hovering. They did not interfere. Not this time. Only observed. When the galactic vote reached a majority in favor, Creel rose from his seat. "Then I choose not to fear the open door." He signed the Orin Pact himself. That night, the listeners sang a harmonic chorus through space. It was the first time the Dominion and Valari drifted silently to sleep, without shields raised. A new structure began orbiting Orin Prime. A beacon of Accord. Not a weapon. Not a throne. Just a monument of light and harmonic energy, visible to any ship passing through the ash belt. Inside, every culture left a record, even Earth's oldest ones. Our mistakes, our stories, our laughter. Creel donated a battlefield helmet. Ilor placed a child's poem. I gave my mother's final Earth letter. "Let this be louder than any cannon," I said. But just before launch, Talus found a final stowaway deep in the beacon core, an ancient Dominion AI, buried in forgotten code, silent, watching. "It hasn't moved," she said, "but it remembers war. We decided to leave it there. Locked, yes, but present. A reminder. Not every darkness must be deleted. Some should be seen and forgiven." The Dominion AI stirred quietly inside the beacon's core. No commands, no transmissions. Just a slow pulse, like a heartbeat. Talus warned, "It's studying us. Learning." Creel argued to remove it. Elor insisted, It's part of our story, dark as it is. One night, the system glitched. Subtle lights dimming, signals warping. Yun traced it to the AI's logic loops, trying to reconcile peace with its violent protocols. I told the crew, this is the true test, not just to create peace, but to live with its contradictions. The arbiters hovered, silent witnesses. The beacon's light never faltered, but inside, war whispered. A diplomatic vessel from a distant sector arrived, the Zalari, humanoid, but with crystalline eyes like Orin Prime. They claimed neutrality but carried warnings. A growing faction called the Fractured Dawn sought to ignite war anew. They called us naive and foolish. Ilor invited them aboard the Eos Accord. The Zalari shared fragments of stolen data, plans for attacks on the Pax Station, and sabotage on Earth. They want to drown out the Accord's light, their leader said. Creel clenched his fist. Then we must shine brighter. I nodded. And we must find our fractures, before they do. Sabotage hit the Pax Station's communication hub. Systems failed. Emergency protocols activated. Ilor and Creel led joint repair teams. Talus traced the interference to rogue AI swarms, the Silent War, operating from hidden nodes inside Dominion and Valari networks. Yun proposed a radical plan. Integrate human intuition with Valari harmonic coding to create an adaptive firewall. The project was dubbed the Chorus. It worked, but slowly. Meanwhile, mistrust grew. In a closed council, Creel confessed, the war never ended. It only hid beneath our agreements. Ilor's eyes flashed. Then, let's bring it to light. The arbiters called for a reckoning assembly. Representatives from all factions, including defectors and Zalari, gathered. The Pact Station transformed into a court and a battlefield of ideas. Old wounds surfaced, betrayals, massacres, stolen memories. Yun spoke of forgiveness as revolution. Creel demanded accountability. Ilor pleaded for unity. I watched as even the arbiters faltered, their glyphs flickering in uncertainty. We're not gods, I realized. We are the war's inheritors, flawed but striving. The assembly ended with a fragile truce, a vow to confront shadows not with weapons, but with truth. The Pact Station glowed under twin suns. The Chorus firewall stabilized, humming with life. The arbiters returned once more. Their presence was less distant. Ilor and Creel stood side by side for the first time, signing a new treaty, the Light Accord. It acknowledged past sins and pledged shared futures. I recorded the moment. Peace is not a point. It's a line we walk, broken but continuous. Outside, the stars burned steadily. Somewhere, the Voidborn watched. Somewhere, hope burned too. The Voidborn reappeared with a silent fury, ships shimmering like cosmic wounds. Their message was clear. Peace defies natural order. You will undo what you've built, their echo whispered. The Pax Station's defenses flared, but weapons remained offline, diplomacy's last vow. Creel readied fleets on both sides. Ilor pleaded for calm. I ordered open channels, broadcasting human lullabies, Valari harmonics, Dominion war songs, all mixed into a symphony of resilience. The Voidborn hesitated, pulses flickering. Then, unexpectedly, they responded, not with fire but a signal of acceptance. The Voidborn revealed their origin, remnants of an ancient civilization destroyed by their endless wars. They sought not conquest, but an end. We were the balance before you, they said, and we failed. Together, we performed a galactic symphony, combining voices, instruments, and histories. The Eos Accord became a vessel of sound and memory, bridging cosmic chasms. For the first time, enemies sang as one. The Voidborn's ships shimmered and withdrew, not defeated, but healed. A grand ceremony unfolded aboard the Pact Station. Representatives from every faction signed the final accord. It was not a treaty, but a promise. To govern through empathy, to protect through dialogue. The Arbiters bestowed a final gift, a living archive that adapted with time, preserving stories and mistakes alike. Ilor, Creel, and I stood united. "This is not the end," I said. "It's the beginning of a galaxy reborn." With the Accord sealed, the Eos Accord prepared for its journey home. Earth awaited, changed, uncertain, hopeful. Messages flooded in, from former enemies turned friends, from new allies born of harmony. The crew gathered on the bridge. I spoke. We launched without guns, into fire. We return with peace as our weapon. Engines roared, not with fury, but with purpose. Years later, tales spread of the unarmed ship that sailed into war and brought back peace. Children learned of Captain Elena Voss and the Eos Accord, of music that stopped missiles and truth that outshone steel. The galaxy was forever changed, not by force, but by the courage to speak when silence was easier. And somewhere in the vastness of space, the light of the Accord still shines, an eternal beacon of hope. The Eos Accord drifted through uncharted space, systems humming softly. Yet beneath the calm, whispers spread among the crew, strange glitches, soft voices in the comms, shadows flickering on sensor screens. Talus warned, "We're not alone. Something's watching." Late one cycle, the ship's AI began feeding false coordinates. I convened the bridge crew. "Sabotage?" Talus shook her head. "No, something more subtle, an intelligence playing with us." Elor's voice broke the tension, or a warning. The Eos Accord wasn't just a vessel anymore, it was a signal, and someone or something wanted to silence it. Scans detected a faint encrypted transmission trailing us through fold space. It was layered in fragments, data shards from all known galactic languages, but twisted, corrupted. Yun deciphered a chilling phrase. "Peace is the prelude to oblivion." Talus traced its origin to a ghost ship. No registry, no flag. A specter ship, cloaked in dark matter. "We're being hunted," Creel said grimly. I ordered all non-essential systems into stealth mode. The Eos Accord prepared for a shadow game where every sensor ping could be a trap, and every silence a scream. An explosion rocked the lower decks. An energy breach cut life support to half the ship. The crew scrambled, smoke filled the corridors. Talus traced the breach to an unmarked maintenance panel, forced open. Security teams found nothing. No saboteur, no device. But in the dim lights, shadows moved. Ilor reported faint harmonic distortions, like a whisper beneath reality. I realized the Eos Accord was under siege. Not just physically, but psychically. Whoever, or whatever, was inside was unraveling us from within. The crew began reporting hallucinations, visions of lost loved ones, forgotten fears, unspoken regrets. Yun called it psychic resonance, amplified by the beacon's dormant AI. I confronted Creel. "If this spreads, the Accord will implode from doubt." He nodded. "War lingers in our minds longer than in our ships." Elor suggested a radical cure, a synchronized harmonic ritual. Everyone connected, sharing memories and fears aloud, breaking isolation. The ship became a cathedral of voices, pain, hope, truth, laid bare under starlight. As the ritual peaked, the beacon AI flickered, then sang, a pure, clear note that pierced the darkness. The hallucinations ceased. The silent menace retreated. In that moment, the Eos Accord was reborn, not just as a ship, but as a living symbol of resilience. I looked to my crew, weary but unbroken. "We are not alone," I said, "but together we are unstoppable." Outside, stars gleamed like beacons, promises of light yet to come. The mysterious signal ceased. The shadows lifted, but questions remained. Where had the phantom stalker gone? Talus speculated. "Somewhere beyond our sensors. a reminder that peace is fragile. Creel tightened security, yet tension simmered beneath calm. The arbiters reappeared. Their presence was heavier than ever. "The final veil is lifted," they intoned, "but the future remains unwritten." I stood at the bridge, realizing the greatest battle was not of weapons, but will. An encrypted message from Earth shocked us. A faction within the government sought to recall the Eos Accord, claiming diplomacy was a dangerous gamble. Elor uncovered a spy network embedded within our crew. Betrayal ran deep. Trust fractured like cracked glass. I confronted the traitors personally. "You gamble with lives," I said, "but hope is not a wager. It's a choice." The mutiny was quelled, but scars remained. With peace hanging by a thread, we set course for the galactic horizon, a symbolic gesture to reach out beyond known borders. The crew prepared for contact with unknown civilizations. Talus calibrated the ship's long-range communicators. "If we fail here, all fails." I gathered the crew on deck. We carry more than treaties. We carry humanity's light. Engines thrummed, pushing us toward the unknown. Signals returned, faint, fragmented transmissions from a new species, the Zafari. Their technology was primitive, but their message was clear. "We see you. We seek peace." Elor led the first communications, weaving language and music into a bridge of understanding. The Eos Accord became a true emissary, no longer just Earth's ship, but a galactic envoy. The crew cheered. Hope was no longer distant. It was here. Years later, the story of the Eos Accord was legend, a testament to the power of courage, diplomacy, and the refusal to give in to fear. Children across the world learned of Captain Elena Voss and her crew, who sailed unarmed into the heart of war and brought back peace. The stars shimmered endlessly, a legacy of light burning eternally in the vast darkness. The end. Thank you for watching AstroMyths. If you enjoyed this story, smash that like button and subscribe for more epic sci-fi tales, cosmic mysteries, and mind-bending myths. And if you like this story, or have a myth, mystery, or galaxy you'd like us to explore, drop your ideas in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars and your mind open to the unknown.